Social media flexed its muscle in 2021. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube banned former President Trump after the January 6th attack on the Capitol, saying his words could incite violence.
You cannot use our services to say things which we think deliberately can lead to harm.
Small investors mobilized in a buying frenzy over GameStop shares. The stock of the troubled retailer soared, costing hedge funds who had bet against it billions of dollars. The pandemic bought some extra time for taxpayers. For the second year, the tax filing deadline was postponed to give people more time to navigate unusual circumstances.
I've never seen anything like this, have you?
Drivers felt pain at the pump, from the cyber attack on Colonial Pipeline to damage from Hurricane Ida. The laws of supply and demand made gasoline nearly 50% more expensive than it was a year ago. Bernie Madoff, who pulled off the biggest Ponzi scheme in history, died in prison. He was 82 and serving a 150-year sentence for swindling thousands of investors. Peloton recalled about 125,000 treadmills after they were linked to dozens of injuries and the death of a child. A former employee blew the whistle on Facebook, telling Congress the social media giant knew it was causing harm.
So Facebook knows that they are leading young users to anorexia content.
Weeks later, the tech giant changed its name to Meta as part of a larger rebranding.
We're going to be metaverse first, not Facebook first.
The unemployment rate dropped back to 4.2% as employers scrambled to find workers.
We're trying to hire more baristas. We're trying to hire cooks.
But American workers had different ideas. 4.4 million quit their jobs in September and another 4.2 million in October in a trend known as the Great Resignation.
The pandemic may have influenced it in that I think it changed my mindset.
Pandemic shutdowns led to a global shortage of computer chips used in everything from cars to smartphones. And traffic jams at ports contributed to disruptions in the supply chain, with retailers running low on stock, including Christmas trees.
We do have a shortage this year, and that's a big problem.
Lower stock meant higher prices, and with inflation climbing at the fastest pace in 40 years, President Biden nominated Jerome Powell for a second term as head of the Federal Reserve. More investors.
Good afternoon, Alan. We know right now that businesses, residents, and people that come to work in the city of Atlanta are trying to figure out, what does being back in the red zone mean? Well, the good news is it's not an official stay-at-home guidance like it was the first time around, but we do know it will change the way city buildings and city officials interact with the general public.
It could have been a good thing, something going though, but maybe next time or next year.
The city of Atlanta is taking big steps back toward more strict COVID rules. Mayor Bottoms announcing the city is returning to the red zone, given a dramatic spike in COVID cases.
It still continue on the legacy of the peach drop.
The mayor's office, citing the CDC, says in Fulton County alone, the 7-day average of COVID-19 cases has surged from 407 to 1,430. This is the highest rate of change since the beginning of the pandemic. This news, coupled with the announcement that the New Year's Eve peach drop is being canceled for a third year in a row.
Mask is absolutely required. We'd also ask people to distance themselves.
That was 2 weeks ago when I spoke to the owner of Underground Atlanta as they prep for the return of the peach drop. Today, he tells me he got notice this morning that the city would be canceling the event due to COVID. As for guidelines, this time around, the red zone won't be as restrictive for Atlanta businesses. Previously, it meant a stay-at-home guidance, with restaurants being limited to to-go orders. But the city's updated red zone guidelines mainly mean that masks are required indoors across the city. Only certain outdoor events with safety precautions will be given permits, and city buildings will only be open for transactional services like payments and licensing, not public events. Mayor Bottoms saying in a statement, quote, "As positive COVID-19 cases rise, I encourage everyone to be safe, get vaccinated, and follow CDC guidelines." And the mayor's office also citing that Fulton and DeKalb counties are considered areas of high COVID transmission right now. You can go to our CBS 46 website and app to find out more about this story, the move back to the red zone, and also where to find COVID tests and vaccinations. Reporting live in downtown Atlanta, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.